Hello, hello. I'll be right with you. I'm just sharing this to a couple of my favorite places, and then we will get started. Facebook has changed the way that I share lately, so it takes me a second or two longer, so apologize for that, but I will be with you in just a minute. Get my VIP group in here. Hi, Cindy. If you just come in, be sure to say hello. Done. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some fun stuff out for us to play with tonight, but before we get started, wanted to point out this word right here that I'm not supposed to say live on Facebook anymore. So we call it sprinkling. So if you are watching either live or on video, please hit that SHARE tab and sprinkle this video wherever you can. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. It helps grow my audience. So let's see. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello, Leslie. Hello, hello. So I have my cup of coffee here. I'm all ready for my live. And as I told you, this is all about coffee. And this is what I wake up with, and usually what I have just before I go to bed. Sometimes when I just don't want to get up in the morning, I look forward to my cup of coffee, and it kind of motivates me to get going. But at night, when I'm relaxing, watching TV or whatever, I also like a cup, but I do have decaf at night. So I like big mugs, and I cannot lie. I love these Rae Dunn mugs because I can actually use my Keurig and make a full cup and then a small cup, and it all fits in there nice, and I've got enough coffee to keep me going for quite a while. So I hope you have something good for you to drink tonight, and we're going to get our project started. So let me set up my camera and do this. Sorry about that. My table's a little wide. I can't quite reach over the top. Hello, Miss Annie. Did you guys all have a chance to go in and see all the new products that are available on my website today? Most of the things are surfaces, so I've got a dozen of the cutting boards coming. I've got a dozen of the bunny sets coming. I've got trucks coming. I've got the little add-on pieces for the truck sets. What else was there? There was one more thing. Oh my gosh, I can't think of what it is. Some box frames that I've been waiting to get. Lots of fun things. So if you are local to me, I have them coming in. So if you don't want to order, you can get them from me. Otherwise, they're right on my website live now. So go get them. All right. So we're going to be working with a transfer tonight called A Day Without Coffee. And, oh, thank you, Annie. I've seen lots of people use this just for coffee, but I've also seen people do a day without something different. So I had some people say a day without my kids, a day without my dog, a day without Jesus, a day without all different kinds of things. So if you could change the words in here, and you absolutely can, what would you put in there instead of coffee? So a day without what is like, just kidding, I have no idea. What would it be for you? A day without chalking, a day without crafting, a day without my grandkids. You could really, take the coffee out and put any word that you want in there using our alphabets. So it's really a very versatile transfer. So I'm going to cut this apart like I've been doing lately. I really like the way that the ruler method goes for cutting things apart. I'm using a self-healing cutting mat beneath my transfer and a metal ruler, and I have this very sharp, I could probably hurt somebody with this, a crafting knife. It's a very sharp blade, and all I do is kind of lightly cut into the vinyl on my transfer. I'm not trying to cut right through the paper too, although sometimes I have, but a day without wine is like, I don't know. It just is nice that you don't have to have all your different pieces scattered inside the bag where your transfers came from. You can see everything because you can put them right back on the backer sheet. I like that. So I'm going to use this piece here. And if I did it right, I cut on either side of that line. I should be able to pull a strip off like so. And it leaves a gap, which is just enough wiggle room for when you're putting the transfers back on the carrier sheet. A day without wine. Nobody else has anything they couldn't go a day without. It's definitely coffee for me. Gotta have my coffee. Sometimes a little more than a little coffee. Yeah. As much as I like coffee, I'm not real big on like coffee shops. I don't really like flavored coffee. I just like it with a little bit of milk in it. Very simple. And that's all I like. I'm just cutting all these parts apart. So yeah, I'm cutting on either sides of the cutting line. All right, nobody else has to have something every day. How about a day without chocolate? Or a day without Pepsi? Some people like that. It's definitely coffee for me. All right, I think I have one more. Did I get them all? I got them all. All right, so I'm just going to peel those out. It does take a little more time than cutting maybe, but this one I went right through the paper. Nope, I did. That's okay. It'll still work. You have to go really carefully with that blade. It's pretty sharp. But this is pretty good. You can go without it. Your wine or your coffee, Annie? Do we have any tea drinkers with us tonight? Used to be you'd like tea a lot more than coffee. I missed one. All of a sudden one day I woke up and the smell of coffee just made me need a cup. And I was actually camping at the time, and I was always, like I said, a tea drinker. My mom loved her coffee, Maxwell House, and I always liked the smell of it, but I never liked the taste of it. I thought it tasted kind of muddy, but now I love it. Love, love, love it. Okay, so I have these all cut apart, and we're going to be working on a board and base surface. This is an old surface that I've had a long time, and you know me, I'm always gluing things to the wood, so it's getting a little bit gruesome looking. So I took some sandpaper and I sanded it down to make it sort of like a light washed wood. So I really like the way it looks. So I'm going to cover this thing before I maim somebody with it, like myself. And we are going to fuzz this transfer. I think I have everything that I need with me tonight, but time will tell, right? Just when I think I've got my act together. And my glue should be plugged in. It is. I'm having some problems with my glue gun. I might have to retire her, which will be very sad. Yep, it's not working. All right. You need coffee for sure. I get it. So I'm going to start by we're just going to do it with coffee this time. Maybe some other day we'll do a different kind of project with it. This is a brand new transfer, so I do need to fuzz it. It is pretty sticky. So I'm just going to put it up and down on a towel to pick up a little bit of lint on the back, which softens the adhesive. That feels perfect. Now these are very, very sticky, and they are reusable. So the company says you can get 6 to 8 uses. I can't promise you that this will happen, but I have used them way more than that. You guys have watched me do that vintage truck how many times? So once you find the right place for your transfer, you're going to start in the middle with a squeegee and kind of work your way out, smoothing down all of the transfer. This is getting rid of any bumps, bubbles, or folds that are behind the transfer. This transfer has a screen that runs through the whole design, so anywhere that you can see the black shining through, there's actually a screen there, which is what gives us all of the details that you see in our chalk transfers. Okay. So I'm going to be using bright white, and I wanted to use this color here, which is called Camel, and I know it's not available anymore, but I think other colors like copper or shimmer gold, I think copper is a shimmer also, but either of those will look really pretty too. I was just trying to bring in that, you know, this kind of coffee with creamer kind of color. So I think I'm going to use this tonight, but if you have a different color, or if you have bark, you can mix it with a little bit of white or a creamy color and make whatever color coffee that you like the best. So I'm going to stir this up a little bit. I played with this afternoon because it had gotten dry. So it's a little bit lumpy bumpy, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. And the white looks pretty nice still, but I'm always going to give that a stir. So your chalk paste can actually separate in the jar when you're not looking, when you're not using your chalk. So you want to take good care of your chalks. You want to keep them about the consistency of sour cream. This is a little heavier than that, so I am going to go and add some distilled water. Avoid using your tap water because it has bacteria in it that can cause your chalk to get moldy. So just distilled water is the best thing that you can use. So give that a good stir. Incorporate all of the liquids, all of the pigments, all of the oils that might be in your jar, and get that to a nice smooth consistency. This has some big lumps in it. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to fuss too much with that today. Okay, so if you haven't done this before, we use rubber squeegees to apply the chalk paste. So our chalk is actually chalk like you might have used as a child on the sidewalk, but it's a much more sophisticated form. It goes on wet, dries hard in a matter of minutes, but it is water soluble. So if I want to change this out anytime, get rid of this design and put another one on, I spray it with water and scrub it off. There actually was a mermaid tail on here earlier that I took off. So I ran it under the water and I took this is our scraper tool, and I just sort of scraped all the paste off, which left me with something called ghosting. And what ghosting is it's sort of a shadow of what was on it before. It's kind of like it leaves a shadow. So what I did was I took a board eraser. That's what I don't have on my table, but it's a little white disc about this big that you can use to scrub your surfaces and your transfers clean. It gets rid of all of that ghosting, and it does a great job with cleaning your transfers. So board erasers, very affordable and wonderful to have if you don't have one already. You guys have probably used those before. So my plan is I'm going to do a day without and is like in white, and then go in with my creamy or coffee color with the word coffee. So I'm using a small rubber squeegee, and I'm just going to apply it on top of the letters. So I'm going to leave that a little bit thick, and especially if you are a new chalker, leave it thick because you want to always remove your transfer before the chalk dries. If it happens to dry before you pull it off, it is going to stick to the transfer and not your surface. Hello, Sabrina. Hello. So make sure that you always remove your transfer while your design is still wet. So I've got it covered with a nice thick coat, and then I'm going to go back over it and sort of scrape it right back off. Scoop it onto my squeegee and put it right back in the jar. After you've done this a while, you get an idea for how much chalk you're going to need, and you don't need to use quite as much. But while you're learning, make sure you leave it plenty thick. Okay, so the next part I'm going to do is with the creamy coffee color, whichever you have. And you're just going to do the same thing. Smooth that all over your design. Going to get all of that screen covered. You don't have to try to stay in the lines at all. Not even a little bit. And as soon as it's covered, you're going to go back in and scoop off the excess. Scrape it back into your jar. Sabrina, what's for dinner? She says she's cooking. So I'm getting ready to go on a vacation, you guys. I don't know if I told you, but I'm going to Maui on Saturday. I'll tell you more about that after I peel this. So as soon as you're all done getting everything covered and scraped, you're going to take your transfer off, pulling from the center. Just pull it back nice and easy. Like that. A day without coffee. So I'm getting ready to go to Maui on Saturday, which is really wonderful because who knew we'd ever be able to travel again. But it's in the United States, so there are some restrictions. But even more challenging is, what do you wear? I haven't been shopping for clothes in about 2 summers, so I have the same old things I've been wearing forever. So I guess I won't need a big suitcase. So I'm going to dry this a little bit. So I'm pretty excited about my trip. It's always, I always get a little anxious before I leave. There's so many things you have to do. Once I'm on the plane, I'm fine. But I have a lot of packing. We have COVID tests to do. But my company, Chocolate Tour, is paying for my trip, which is amazing. And I have you guys to thank for that. All of my viewers and the people that order from my website and come to my classes, I really, really do appreciate that. So thank you so much. I will be thinking of you on the beach in Maui. So the next part that I'm going to put on is the part that says, just kidding, I have no idea. So I'm going to put that a little bit lower, but I want to fuzz that first. I'm going to pull my towel over and just put that on and off a couple of times. And that feels good. And I want to be really careful not to stick this too hard to the words below it. And I'm also going to go off to the right just a little bit, and I'll tell you why. It's because I have a little coffee cup accent that I want to put here, right next to it. The other thing is I'm not going right down to the bottom because this fits into this tray here. There's a little slot in the wood that this whole thing will fit right into, like that. If you don't want to do a tall picture like I'm doing, you can also turn it this way and do a picture that way. So I'm going to get that on there. It looks pretty straight. And I'm just rubbing down the words that I'm chalking. So go in there with the white. I know I forgot something. It's my brown. Okay, let's go in here and cover that. Scrape off the excess and we'll pull it. I did forget one of my colors, but it's behind me. And there we go. All right, I'm going to cover my white for now, and I'm going to grab some of my brown chalk paste behind me. This is actually called Bark. It's a nice chocolate pudding color. Let's get myself situated here. Okay, let me give this a good stir, and we're going to do a little bit of painting. Do I have a paintbrush handy? I always think I have my act together, and then I sit down to play with you guys, and I realize I forget things. But they're right here. I think yesterday I had to run upstairs and grab my water bottle because I was had some dry stuff I needed to take care of. That looks great. Let me see if I have a paintbrush right here. Yes, I do. Okay, so what I did this afternoon is I got my scroll saw out and I cut out this cute little cup. Let me pull it up close so you can see it, which is also the same as the cup on the transfer. So what I want to do is I want to paint the wood cup and then go over that chalk paste paint with the transfer. So to do that, I am going to use a regular old chalk paste. Grab a piece of paper to work on. If you guys have any questions while I'm working, please let me know. Just got a little pad of paper here, so I'm going to, oops, there's something on my brush. We're just going to put a coat of chalk paste paint on here. Now, if this feels too thick to you, you can put it in the lid of your jar and thin it out if you want. This seems to be going on pretty well. See how smooth I can get it. It's a little thicker than I probably should have thinned it just a smidge. All right, who knew you could paint with chalk paste? Who knew? Okay, we're going to dry that up with my drying tool. Looks like I need to go buy a glue gun, guys. I'm really sad because, like I said before, I have had this, I think, since I was a teenager. My husband worked on it the other night and it was working much better, but now it's not again. Whoops. There we go. I couldn't see your comments for a second there. Oh, thanks, Kathy and Leslie. I had a message pop up and I couldn't see your comments. I'm just adding a little bit of color to this. Maybe one more minute. Another way that you could do this, instead of using a paintbrush, you could take a baby wipe and dip it in a little bit of chalk and use it like a stain. So there's different ways that you can do things. So let's grab that transfer. And I'm going to fuzz this especially because it's going on top of chalk that I've already got done. So a little bit off camera here, but you know how I did that before. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to try to place this on top of my cup. And one of the ways that I can be sure that I have this in the right spot, if I'm doing it on top of a shape, is just kind of hold it up to the light. If you don't have a light, you can also use a light table, but just hold it up to the sun or something to make sure that, yep, we did pretty good that time, that it's right where you want it. Otherwise, just peel it off and start over. So let's go in with that white again. Darn, I'm so mad about my glue gun. It's plugged in. Okay. So I'm just going to chalk the cup in white. I'm going to use a nice light pressure on this because I don't want to pull up the brown underneath it. Easy peasy. Excess back in the jar. So I do have a link to most of the products that I'm using up in the description of this live, but I will have a special bundle available for my VIP group. So if you are not in my VIP group and you are watching and would like in on that bundle, just put VIP in the comments and I'll see that you get added in. Let's dry that up. Yeah, I plugged in my glue gun before I came live, so it should be ready to go by now, but sure isn't. Cold as can be. All right, so I'm not going to be able to glue this all together, but I'm going to show you how it's going to look. Zoom back out for you. And I'm just going to lay it down and assemble it. Assemble as shown. So I'm just going to put this into the edge, into that little groove there. And as I said, I wanted it just a little bit askew so that I could sit my little cup right there. You know what I could do? I could put a little pop dot there, huh? I got some of those. That'd work. Let me grab them. They're actually not pop dots, they're glue dots. So these I get at any craft store has them. They're just little, it kind of reminds me of rubber cement that we used to use in school. I don't think kids use that anymore, but I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my cup. Put a couple dots. These are pretty big dots, but I still want a couple just to hold tight. And you usually end up with them stuck to you. Be warned. Okay, they look like contact lenses. That can go there. I wanted the handle to hang off just a little bit. So cute. All right, so far so good. What do you think about adding a little bit of ribbon? because ribbon makes everything better, right? Oh, I love this. I'm excited about this. Get some more of our little sticky dots out. Okay, where are you starting? Here they are. I'm going to put a few of these. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to get them to stick to fabric, but we'll try. Kind of working my way around here. And two more on this end. This is so darling, you guys. All right. I might have to get some real glue for this, but I love it. How would that look near your coffee maker, your coffee station? I don't have a coffee station, I just have a coffee maker. I do have one at my shop though. Hi Tracy, thank you. Didn't know you were here tonight. I didn't forget that you messaged me this morning too. I'm so sorry about that. I will get back to you. So that is our Day Without Coffee project. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I think this is really cute. So cute. So again, I do have most of the ingredients listed in the description of this event. You can click on my link and it'll bring you right to the checkout area of my website where you can pick and choose the items that you want. So for instance, if you already had white chalk paste, it's in your cart, but you can take it out or add other things in if you want to. But one of the things I wanted to mention that something new is that you can add a catalog to your order now, which if you are not a Club Couture member, you probably don't have one. This is one of our new catalogs. I actually just got mine today because it came with my Club Couture transfer, which is really cute. I think we're going to do this tomorrow. This one is called Go Confidently. This got lost in the mail and I just got it today. I was supposed to get it the first week of February, but it got lost. So I just have my own first catalog. So you can also add them to your order right on my website. So check it out. And if you are interested in a bundle, which might include some of the things that I showed you tonight that I can't talk about on my public page. Oh gosh, it's so hard. Put VIP in the comments and I'll make sure that you get to know what's in the bundle. So, does anyone have any questions tonight? Thank you, Annie. We could have done a day without wine and made a wine glass, right? Oh boy. Oh boy. We could do that. All right. So that is what I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that you spend your time creating with me. It always makes it more fun to do it with friends, right? So I will be back tomorrow night with another fun project. So I will post something about that tomorrow, about what time and all that, and I will see you there. Thank you again so much. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will get back to you. And as always, if you are thinking about being paid to be creative like I am, let me know and I'd love to help you get started. Have a great night. Oh, love you too. Thank you for the hearts. You're awesome. All right, take care. If you want to come help me pack, come on down. My suitcase is lost. Gone. Cannot find it anywhere. All right. Have a great night. Bye-bye, friends.